Soundstripe.
Welcome to South End Supporters, a St. Louis City SC podcast powered by Ready to Live Wellness and coming at you from the Warrior Logo Wear studio. David Heck alongside Eric Cole and the Monday morning center back Dave Wyckoff as we are set for episode 2 this week, where we will feature the STL Kalachi match week preview as well as Felix's Pizza Pub South End submissions. Guys, we get all swole the first episode of the week and we turn it into slobs the second episode of the week. Two amazing food establishments sponsor this one. Gents, this is the episode the people love. They love it. I love it. We love it. It's our favorite. And hopefully the energy is so much better in this one than it was on Tuesday.
Yeah, we were sad to quite sad on Tuesday.
Yeah. Well,
it's unfortunate.
At this point, we've had, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days or so.
You know, we didn't even talk about Cinco de Mayo, by the way. This is the one and only time that I will ever rep an El Tri jersey with the throwback Mexico. But yeah, we didn't even talk about, when we're recording this, it's Cinco de Mayo. Contrary to popular opinion, not, in fact, Cinco de Muvo.
It felt like Cinco de Muvo, Dave, because we were all so upset and disappointed on the Tuesday episode. That's how it felt to me. But regardless, it was Cinco de Mayo. So I hope you all celebrated and enjoyed. I had spaghetti for dinner. I don't even think it was on our radar that it was Cinco de Mayo. I didn't realize it until you just said something.
Was it at least like taco spaghetti? Have you ever had taco spaghetti before?
It wasn't, and it wasn't even spaghetti. I forgot. It was a different kind of pasta. It was a tubular pasta, Dave. I'm not sure what that is. Rigatoni maybe, or rotini noodles. Penne, I suppose it was penne. Rigatoni is the spiral, right? Is that right?
No. That's no. Rigatoni is the larger tube noodle, and then penne is like tube, but almost like a parallelogram.
Oh, yeah. This was rigatoni. Yeah. This was in the rigatoni category. With cheese and meat sauce and everything. To me, red sauce, red pasta, it's all the same. It's all very similar, except the cheese is layered on top.
We're skipping over a big thing here. What the hell is taco spaghetti?
Well, okay.
Thank you.
Let's go back. We'll go to that. We'll go to that. Let's talk noodles first, and then we'll talk taco spaghetti.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And red sauce. By the way, do you like a sweet marinara or meat sauce, or do you like it to be more like savory meatish?
Meat sauce? It's a great question, Dave. Great, and this is why you're one of the best in the business. And asking questions exactly like that one right there. I personally enjoy a little tang, I would say, right? A little bit on the tangy side. Yeah, a little tang. The wife likes it a bit sweeter. She's been known to add a little sweetness to the sauce. It's okay, but I prefer a tangier sauce. That's what I like.
Yeah. I like a little bit sweet. I think the sweet is, and I'm not Italian. I have no Italian heritage, but I think the little bit of sugar in the marinara sauce is the traditional sort of Italian way. At least that's the way that they portray it in The Godfather, which, let's be honest, is really my only exposure to Italian culture. But yeah, I like it a little sweeter. Now, how about a night? Do you like a cream sauce, or do you like an oil butter garlic sauce? If you got to rank the three, red sauce, white sauce, oil butter garlic. This is for both of you, by the way.
Yeah, I don't. I don't like oil butter garlic. I've had it. Mm-hmm. The one that jumps out to me is the Spaghetti Factory has one. It's like Masitra cheese and brown butter.
Oh my God, Masitra cheese!
My wife just
that's pretty nice.
Yep.
I don't know if I've had a lot of it other than that particular dish. I do like white sauce. I like them all, dude. I really do love pasta. I try not to eat a ton of it because I usually feel terrible afterwards.
Yep.
But I go ham on some pasta for sure, and I like all the sauces. If I had to rank them,
my pasta too.
Yeah. If I had to rank the sauces, I would probably go. Honestly, I'd probably go red sauce last, unless it was a meaty red sauce. If it's a meaty red sauce, then I do really enjoy that for sure. What's the famous Ravanelli's dish that everybody used to get at all the catered events? So muscicoli. There you go. And that's like a St. Louis staple. I've said that word to people before outside of St. Louis. They don't know what it is. But that's really, really good. And if you got like I said, a heavy meaty red sauce, then that I really enjoy that.
Eric?
So I'm in order of 1 to 3. I'm red, white, oil and butter. But I'm kind of like with you guys with the red. I don't want it to be like super watery. I almost want it to be real thick to where it's like when I'm eating that bite of noodles, I'm almost eating just as much like sauce as I am just straight noodles. So that's where usually it's typically like the meat sauce kind of like accompanies that to where I mean maybe it's more so when you just buy it straight out of like the jar and stuff like that. It can get super watery, and at that point I'm basically just eating like noodles almost like my kids. I want it like a thicker red sauce that hangs on when I'm eating.
You know what I really like? I'm gonna get real close to the microphone because I feel like this has to be secretive. I really like to mix a little meat sauce with a little Alfredo sauce and create the blush.
That's a nice play.
That's the play.
We do that at the house, and that's the way to go. You are right.
That's the
I like getting a little chicken parm. I like a little chicken parm, Dave.
Oh yeah.
With a side of Alfredo. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then you've got that combination. That's a really strong play.
That's strong. That's strong to quite strong. This is why this show works, by the way. This is exactly why this show works.
You know what else
Because
works, Dave? A kolache. A kolache works.
Kolache does work. Particularly from STL Kolache in Sunset Hills at 1530 Kirkwood Road.
That would be a great kolache. Sorry to cut you off. A chicken parm kolache.
Oh my God! Yes.
Oh man!
Yeah, it would.
Once you just said about that one for sure.
Chicken parm kolache would hit.
That sounds awesome.
And
go
CEC. They should do a South End supporter edition where you throw in a little of that white sauce.
Oh my
red
God,
sauce
that's just incredible. All right, so everyone, you have your homework now. You go to STL Kolache in Sunset Hills. You talk to our buddy EC at 1530 South Kirkwood Road, the intersection of Kirkwood Road and Watson next to Highway 44. You tell him, I demand the South End supporters chicken parm kolache, and I will pay anything for it. Here's a check, sir. Write down any amount of money. Just make me a chicken parm kolache. If you don't want that, sausage gravy, chorizo, chicken enchilada, that's what they're known best for. Get you the Philly cheesesteak. Get you the meatball. Get whatever you want. Get a dozen. Get 2 dozen. Share it with people. Make friends. STL Kolache in Sunset Hills. We make breakfast better. Before we move to the match week 12 preview, I do want to just to mention what taco spaghetti is really quick.
Yeah, we can't just leave out of here without.
It's essentially exactly what it sounds like. You make yourself some ground beef. You take the typical the taco seasoning, maybe throw some tomatoes in there, all that good stuff, and then you throw it in with some pasta and you just cook it. And it's delicious. I mean, it's essentially all the same ingredients as a taco. You just have noodles instead of a shell. So you throw melted cheese on there, sour cream. You're gonna love it. Trust me.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds like something Buddy the Elf made in opposite order.
You know what? You don't have to try it if you don't want to. I'll keep it to myself. It's delicious.
By the way, real quick,
to yourself.
Real quick, a couple of names for you for the new chicken parm kolache. If we come up with it just via Chat GPT, a couple of them I like. South End stuffed, that could be one of them. Also Parmageddon, which I really like. I like Parmageddon.
Parmageddon, I think, wins.
South End supporters present Parmageddon.
Parmageddon. Let's get on it.
Fantastic. All right.
Plus, it would be even greater to just say that we're in the South End chucking out Parmageddons.
Parmageddons, dude. You get a Parmageddon. You get a Parmageddon.
That would be a heavy kolache to be hucking around the South End, by the way.
Be.
It's like a 1.5 pound brick just launching it across the field. But yeah, so, all right, match day 12 preview. San Diego coming into town. We all know that the earlier game in San Diego ended in a draw, but it wasn't exactly a well-earned draw, as I think still to this point that game, if you go by MLS stats and information, that was the game that we've bunkered up the most. I think we played the entire game inside our 18-yard box. It's not – I mean, we're not exactly in a great spot to be looking at any positives or really predicting anything with any sort of enthusiasm in terms of getting a result, if you want to go to the odds makers, which we love to do, and that's what most of this preview will be spent talking about, is the odds makers. Just full disclosure. On FanDuel, if you go by the three-way no bet, and again, this is not a betting podcast, we do not give betting advice. The three-way bet, three-way line, City is a plus 145 dog. The tie is plus 280, and San Diego is plus 145. That's the three-way bet. In the tie no bet, as of Monday, Cinco de Mayo, both teams are minus 108. So I can't think that that line is going to stay there. I feel like it's going to move towards San Diego. I feel like they're probably going to end up being closer to maybe a minus 180, 150, maybe even a minus 200 favorite. But again, nobody's paying attention at FanDuel. David, are they paying attention at DraftKings at all?
They're not ever. That line will
They have
move.
San
I'm
Diego
sure.
underdogs. Did I hear that right?
No.
No,
Or
it's,
do I
it's a
understand?
No, they're
coin,
slight
it's
favorites.
a coin flip. Yeah.
Slight favorites. Okay.
On the draw no bet, they're both minus 115 on DraftKings. So you're getting slightly better. You're always getting slightly better odds on FanDuel for whatever reason. Maybe they pay slightly closer attention. I'm not sure. I would anticipate this line moving a little bit after Wednesday's game for sure. We'll see what happens. If City comes out and plays really well, I could see it shifting in City's favor a little bit more. If they do not, then I could see that changing. And then, of course, it will most definitely change once lineups are released a little bit early. Eric, you have your finger up.
I have a dumb betting question.
No such thing, Eric.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. FanDuel is a sponsor of like St. Louis sports networks. Are they the sponsor of all local sports networks, or strictly is that towards St. Louis?
I believe that anyone that was a Fox Sports Midwest that then became Bally's became FanDuel, I think.
So I guess my dumb question is, let's say DraftKings is a sponsor of like California teams, and then FanDuel is a sponsor to like Midwest teams. Do they pay attention more to their local, who they're sponsored? Does that make sense? Is it my question?
No, because they're no.
That's a good shout.
It's not a bad question, but no. I mean, this is all going to be algorithm and driven by betting
Because
lines.
you always
in,
say
in
like
Vegas.
FanDuel favors the odds better. You say that
FanDuel
every episode.
odds
So I'm
on
like, well, wait a minute. If they are, local network, are they following the team? Like, do they know that McSorley plays for City 2 and not for City 1? Like, to where those odds are?
Maybe that's a good question. I mean, FanDuel is slightly better. Like minus 108 is better than minus 115 for sure. Like if you were going to bet on either side, you would be able to realize a higher return because you're not having to risk as much juice as the 115. So it would be a little bit better there. It's not always. It's usually pretty close. Like you would have to bet like a lot of money for it to matter a whole bunch. But regardless, it is interesting. I think this is the first time I remember seeing in a very long time where you've seen a home team dog. Like essentially, I mean, tie no bet, they're even, but City is a slight underdog when you think about the three-way money line bet. So it's interesting. It's the first time I think I can recall either City being home or away where the home team has been a slight underdog, if at all. Typically, it's a relatively large favorite. I mean, you saw it against Columbus when they came to town. City was a pretty comfortable favorite in that game. So this is interesting.
David, if you had your druthers, would you choose to bet solely on DraftKings or solely on FanDuel?
I've gotten to the point where I don't bet on FanDuel. I mean, I've experimented with the platform. It doesn't. I find it to be just out of a creature of habit. Like DraftKings interface is better for me. Like I'm just more comfortable with it. I've looked at FanDuel before. FanDuel has better props for especially like the NBA. Like their NBA props, there's more of them, it seems like, so you can get a little bit more creative there. And like I said, I've played around with it a bit, but not very much. I just like the interface more, so I just stick to DraftKings.
If somebody were to provide you data that would show you that you were better or worse at one site or the other, or had a better history of wagering on one side or the other, would that sway you either way?
It might. I don't know. That freaks me out a little bit. So you saying I can see, who can see? I can see the data?
You can see your own wagering data and the history of your wagers.
Do you guys know like through the app? Does it say whether like plus or minus if you're up or down?
I don't
The
know.
answer
I'm
is
scared
yes.
to. I'm
The
scared to
answer
look.
is yes.
I don't
Does?
think.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Now,
I've
this is
looked. I've
interesting
looked for
because
this before, but I cannot. I don't think it's on DraftKings.
this
Oh,
is
I
interesting
got you.
because Saturday when you had a good pony show, you were Kristen asked you, and she was like, "Are you up?" And you're like, "I'm pretty sure I'm up all time." And so, like, this will be interesting if you can actually like see.
If I am down, now here's the thing. I didn't make that. For those that didn't listen to the Tuesday episode, we didn't spend a lot of time on it. I made 10 bets on the Kentucky Derby. 10 bets. Okay, I hit 7 of those 10, including the winner. I had an exacta. I had a boxed trifecta. I had a straight trifecta, 18, 8, 21, and I had a superfecta with 18, 8, 21, and 3. And so 10 bets, 7 of those bets hit. It was an enormous Saturday.
That's quite a run.
If I am down and you're telling me I can find this data on DraftKings, we're going to do this in real time. I didn't know you could do this. I've got the app pulled up right here.
All right.
If you're telling me that I'm down after what took place on Saturday all time, now granted, I did not make that bet on DraftKings. That was on Twin Spires. DK has a horse site, but again, creature of habit here. I don't like the layout of that. I like the layout of Twin Spires, which is where I make the horse bets 3 times a year. So that's what I use that for. If I am down since that happened on Saturday, then I've got a real problem. I need to stop because that was such a huge day.
I like 2 things. One, before we get into this, Eric saying you had a pony show earlier made me giggle.
It was.
And then you talking about horse bets has me thinking, is he betting on horses or is he betting using horses? So just keep that in the back of your mind. The next time you're making a bet on Twin Spires, I want to make a horse bet. So you have the app.
I do.
Would you like me to help navigate you through this?
Is it under stat sheet? Because I see
It
something that
is
says stat
under
sheet.
my stat sheet.
Oh my
So
god! I don't do. I'm
click on
kind
my
of. I'll be
stat
honest.
sheet.
I'm kind of squinting right now. I'm afraid to look at it.
My stat sheet, and then it'll pop up, and you'll get a screen that lets you sort your stats by time.
Oh, I see it.
And I want you to click all.
I don't want to click
Immediately
all.
bring up.
I don't want to click all. I am up this month. It went to this month.
What about this year?
I don't want to click it, Dave. This is
Go to
this
this
is
year.
nerve wracking. I didn't have a good month last month. I have not had a great year. It wasn't a great last year either.
Do it. Click
Oh
all.
my god. Okay. Wow.
Sort of puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness. You know what the problem is?
Your bets?
No, and I would have I would have I would have bet on this. I would have bet that it's the DFS stuff. That's what gets me.
Oh yeah, that got you.
It gets me
It's
every
like
time,
microtransactions.
Dave.
A
I
lot
know,
of
I know.
microtransactions.
Because if you look at just the green line, which is just the sports book, I'm pretty even. It's like, I mean, it's not far off from what this is. I'll be honest, this is kind of gross.
I like how it gives you the total amount spent and the total amount won too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually really close to even in the sports book. I am not close to even in the daily fantasy.
Daily's tough. There's a lot of sharps in daily now.
I
even
know.
In the,
I gotta
even in the
stop
micro
playing
games.
that. Oh my
and it's
goodness.
a lot of bots. It's a lot of bots. I think that's the biggest problem with the micro games. It's the bots. So
Wow.
I am overall down a little bit on DraftKings, but it's about the same amount that I'm up on FanDuel. So true to my history, basically break even, and that's the best thing you can ask for.
This is eye opening. Now I think all I've got to do is start chasing those losses. I think is what I've got to do.
You'll never get it back if you don't start chasing.
Exactly right. You know, last year, Dave, I was in the positives betting sports
You had a good year last year. Nice.
In the positives, yes, pretty healthy positive, but I was way down in DFS, Wait, I got to stop playing that.
It happens.
It's terrible.
It happens.
I really wish you wouldn't have showed me this. So thank you for that.
No, I think you're happy to see it now because I think you have a goal now. I mean, you have an actual tangible number to get to, and
right.
you've got ambition and you've got drive, and now you just have to execute.
A lot of ambition.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I feel good about this now. This is good.
You should.
Good situation. I like it.
You should. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fun. It's as entertainment purposes only.
Right.
If we're going to make a wager about this week's match, particularly against San Diego FC, man, after Seattle, I don't feel good about any sort of bet. I don't feel good about betting on City's defense. Never have felt good about betting on their offense. Man, and with a short week and a potential squad rotation, depending on what they do, I don't know. San Diego, I don't know if San Diego has a midweek tilt or not.
No, they don't.
They don't. Well, there you go. Man, I would almost rather abstain from betting, but I mean, I'm gonna call it like I see it, and I think San Diego probably wins this game 2-0.
Well, Dave, I've recently quit betting on sports. So if I were a betting man, if I were a betting man, I probably would bet on San Diego here as well. And I would not go draw no bet because I like to consider myself a sharp, Dave. And so minus 115 doesn't do it for me. I would like that minus or that plus money, that like plus 155 or whatever it is. So I would just take them on the three-way money line and pray for not being a draw. I feel like you're going to see the same struggles. 2-1 seems right. I mean, 2-1 is like, I don't know. That seems so reasonable. I think you're probably even looking at 2-0 potentially if the offense just continues to go the way that it's gone. So I would take San Diego. I would bet on them. 2-1 seems right. 2-0 seems right. I mean, who knows? But then again, you just never know what happens. You could get the same team that showed up against LA or either LA team, the Galaxy or LAFC, and score a couple of goals. You just don't know. But I again have recently retired from sports betting, so I will be abstaining this weekend, and that's that.
Yeah, I will tell you. Last week, big jump in the standings for the South End Supporters podcast in terms of the charity challenge because I got it right and I got the goal scorer right.
Oh, wow.
So we made a tremendous leap and we're now in fourth place behind Chat City Tactics, River City Ramble, and STL City Showdown.
Making us proud, Dave. Making us proud. Thank you.
Good for you.
Got to crack that top three.
Somebody's making us
at least.
This is going to be a rough weekend. I was looking at like stats earlier and like San Diego, just in their last 5 games, has 11 goals for, and we have 8 goals for on the year. Like,
I was going to guess 8 in the last 5 games for City. You're telling me that's not right?
No, they were a little off, and they're also coming off a 5-0 thumping of Dallas, which is worrying. They have been a little bit up and down to where when they've lost, but in those games they've lost, like against RSL and against Charlotte, it was like spectacular goals and soft PKs. So even when they lose, and it looks like they lose big on paper, if you're watching the game, it tells a little bit of a different story. I'm curious to get, like, do you think Olaf would ever like try out a new system, try out a new style of play, or try out anything in this U.S. Omaha game that maybe he implements? I know it's a lesser opponent, so it'll look great on paper no matter what. But do you think like he just even uses this U.S. Open game as like let me just try something new, see if it works, if it looks good, even with rotation and everything, like, let me just try. Do you think he ever, like, if ever there's a game to try something that we were talking about in the Tuesday episode, do you think this is it? Like
he's
why
been
not?
so fluid and adaptable so far. I can't see why not.
Right.
Right.
But I also see like players like Leuven getting minutes to try and get up to fitness. So I see Leuven getting some time. Those players that are trying to come back, I see Betcher getting some time and like, that. But like, I just wonder, like, does he use the U.S. Omaha game to try and like find something within the team? And it's crazy that like when I even brought that up, like the both of you are like right away we're just like, no, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's like football. I feel like if you run the spread, you're not gonna all of a sudden switch to running out of I formation under center. It's just I don't think they're going to do that.
But if you're struggling and you're an NFL team, and you have a preseason game against a UFL team, and you've gone 5 games just nothing working, wouldn't you think as a coach, like, hey, you know what, like, I've been nervous to try something completely different against these MLS teams. Let me show it out here. And at least in 45, if it doesn't work, then I can make adjustments and we could probably still eke out a result, unlike against MLS. Like, wouldn't that seem to like make some sense? Or am I just like hopeful in that
No, I
aspect
see
of
the
like,
logic in it. I just don't think he's going to do it. I think what's going to happen is you're going to see Vetcher, Zonde, Mackay
Wenzel? I
start.
see Wenzel getting some time.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of the bench guys start and probably play 60, and then you're going to see guys rotate in and play 30. Because it's going to be your essentially it's going to be your midweek training. So
Right, but
that's what
also
I think is going to happen.
with injuries, you can't rotate out too drastically
Yeah.
because you just don't have the players to do. I agree. I think Zonde gets to start. I'd like to see Mackay.
Maybe they don't play Mackay because he's only got one first team call up left this year.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but is it within the what is it? Is it
Is it with
4
it? Do you think
or
it might have
5
to
days?
be? Oh, I
I
don't
forget
know. I thought it
because
was
I remember
just
we brought it up
appearances.
last year with like Leagues Cup or something like that, where it was like
Yeah, does the Open
gave
Cup even
somebody a
matter?
loan, but it was like within there. Like, either way, like I just wish like this would be a game that he just looks at it like, let me just
Yeah.
try something new. I don't see it happening. I'm gonna go 2-1 loss. San Diego, they're flying right now. Chucky Lozano just got Player of the Match week. Andres
Yeah, he looks
Dryers,
good. He
Andres
left that.
Dryers.
He left
I think
that game earlier in the season with injury, and I feel like
right.
that's really a main reason it wasn't a slobber knocker, or absolute
No, I agree.
mollywhopping.
Yeah, I agree with you because there was nothing going for us in that last game. But honestly, who scares me more is Dryers. He reminds me of like a Aaron Robin. Like he's just out on that right. You know what he's gonna do. He's gonna cut it back on that favored left and he's gonna hit it, or he's gonna supply and just set up somebody else. Like he to me is almost more dangerous on the team than Chucky Lozano right now. He's playing like crazy, and that's the one who scares me. Is because he'll be coming down. Either way, we've been struggling down both sides really, and with rotation and everything like that, who knows what we'll be. But I'm almost going to 2-1 just for like the home crowd getting us that goal and home
Yeah.
atmosphere. It's sad that we're at that point now that like we chalk up a goal to being at home, but just what you're seeing right now with both teams, San Diego, and then what's trending right now with St. Louis,
Look,
it's
I want
hard
to
to find.
Yeah, I want to
Go ahead.
ask a question about this. I was thinking about this on Saturday night. I'm maybe you guys can help me understand this a little bit. I'm trying to understand why home field advantage seems to matter so much in the MLS. I'm not going to speak to like the EPL and some of the European leagues and that, but specifically in the MLS. And here's why I ask the question. When I think about it in football, right? The opposing crowd, when you're on the road, is yelling and making a lot of noise when you're on offense. So it makes it really hard to call plays. You can't hear the offensive coordinator in your headset. The line can't hear the sound. It will go to a lot of silent counts in that to make sure you're not jumping offside. You see guys call timeouts because they don't get the play in or not the right formation or whatever it may be. And I was thinking about this in the MLS because the crowd is chanting for 90 minutes. Like, it doesn't matter who has the ball, they're still making noise and they're still chanting. And a lot of the chants are relatively generic. I mean, they're kind of like plug and play. I feel like I hear like a lot of the same stuff. When I was listening to the game in Seattle, I'm like, well, I can't really make out what they're saying, but it's certainly at like a similar pace, probably a similar noise level to what you would hear in St. Louis. And I was just trying to figure that out. It's like, and like condition wise, like baseball is interesting because, a lot of the dimensions are different in different parks. So, you have to play that. The outfielders have to play it a certain way, or maybe, there's less foul territory here. But like the field sizes are all relatively the same size. Granted, I know there's some turf, but mostly it's on grass. So I'm just curious, right, as to like why it's so difficult to go on the road in the MLS specifically, not talking about other leagues, because it just seems like the crowd is making the same noise that they would be making at home anyway.
Well, as far as grass goes, you have different breeds of grass, and the ball does actually move a little bit different. You think about earlier in the season when they took that tarp off the field.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
it was
grass.
ugly.
Remember you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
commented about
yeah.
high. Like that can make a difference on you're so used to if you're training in a certain way and you can ping a ball in like and you get used to pinging it at that pace, so all of a sudden the ball's moving slower. Now that's adjustable. That's why they do like a field walk. You see the players walking
Right.
around like pregame and they're kind of checking out the turf and kind of seeing how the ball will move and that type of stuff. Um, yeah, you do hear like chants and stuff, but I mean, this is where it takes, this is where we talk a lot about experienced players who have played in, hostile environments and stuff. Especially if you're a winger, you make one bad pass or one bad touch, and yeah, they're chanting on the north end, but on that east end, you have people, oh, and whether you want to think about it or not, like you do, like you think about like hell, I think about it in Thursday nights. If I shank one bad, you look over and you see, somebody at the bar and they're like, geez, like that next shot, I'm thinking like, Jesus,
The
just get it
Warrior
on the
FC
frame.
supporter section not happy.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, like, so then you multiply that, like you have people like Ocampo, when he became our boo bird, like, you start overthinking like, all right, let me just make sure that touch is there. And like, you almost like, you don't play as free. So that's where I think it's a little bit in your head and that type of stuff. But at the same time, though, like I feel like it could almost work at like an opposite effect. You get somebody like a Bouanga or one of those players to where when they do
Kind of
like,
fires them up a little bit.
yeah, they catch
Yeah.
fire and they hit one that's good, they're like, oh, like it can almost have an adverse effect. I think so. Like, but if you can catch like some of those players to where you do hear about it in I know you didn't ask about it, but the European game all the time where when they're on top of you and those fans are right there, like they can make it to where like you can brush off a bad pass or two, but if you get a couple bad passes and they start letting what is it in hockey, goaltenders, they let in a few goals and they start chanting their name, like you don't want to think about it, but like in your head you're thinking like next shot I got to make a save or else it's really going to get bad. And it's the same with like MLS players. Like you're thinking about first touch, you're thinking about that shot. You start like whether you want to or not, you start letting those like thoughts creep in. Whereas if you're the home team and you make a bad touch or a bad pass, it's you got the next one. Like you're getting encouragement kind of thrown back your way, and it's a little.
Yeah, it was just something
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, kind of jumped out at me. I was like, it sounds the same. I was just curious about it, but regardless, STL
It's definitely
Kalachi
not
match
like
week.
the English game where they target chants towards
Right. That's the
mothers
difference.
and wives.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
a little different. Yeah.
That's the difference. The STL Kalachi Match Week preview, 1530 South Kirkwood Road in Sunset Hills, and I just discovered that I have a gambling problem, and I am not happy with the stat sheet that DraftKings shows you. Thank you, Dave, for that. We move on to a much happier time, which is Felix's Pizza Pub South and Submissions. You can check them out at 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. The best pizza and wings you're going to find on the planet. Enormous slices. I like that jalapeno ranch drizzle. I like the buffalo chicken pizza. They call it the Murphy pie over there. It's really good. Eric likes the Dogtown. Dave's been putting meatballs on all his pizzas recently. There's so many options, so many things you can do at Felix's Pizza Pub. It is so delicious, and they are an official City on Tap bar, so go check them out if you don't have a ticket to the game. If they're playing at home, of course, any away game, it's always a great time and great people over at Felix's Pizza Pub. Time for some submissions, boys.
Yeah, they were actually the highlighted City on Tap, where like the whatever they call it, the City team, like fan team or whatever, was out there this past week. Like they were the highlighted City on Tap bar to go check out. So good on them.
We're not associating Felix's with that game now. Oh no.
No.
I know that.
I hope everyone that still went there had a great time despite the game.
No, we said it before. It's the emotional hedge. You go there and
That's
like
right.
even if like you get a performance like that, you get those pizza and wings, you're still feeling like, all right, it wasn't as bad of a night. Like maybe that's where we all messed up, is we should have just had the late night trek out to Felix's, and
Oh my God!
maybe the Tuesday episode would have been a little bit more positive.
myself.
Yeah. Drown your
I would
sorrows.
take
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong at Felix's. So we'll kick this one off with the great American Jeff Thornborough. He said, gut-wrenching Saturday evening at the South State Estate. Woke up Sunday morning with pain still churning. For good news, the South State Junior and his wonderful girlfriend will make the trip from Arkansas to Saturday's match, while Mrs. South State and I will find some seating in a different view for a game. From the South State supporter, a great American, Jeff Thornborough. So
How about that? I wonder where they're
Boy.
coming from in Arkansas. We'll have to ask him about that.
yeah,
I'm a little familiar with that state. I've covered it a little bit in terms of sales territory. So I wonder where they're coming from. Maybe coming from that Fayetteville. That Fayetteville's a hot area, Dave.
Yeah, it is
hot
nice.
area.
It's nice. I've been there.
Yeah.
well, you're due to meet the great American Jeff Thornborough. So
I saw him. I saw him from across. I saw
They
him from
don't.
afar.
They don't live probably that far from Arkansas, right? Like I'm not great with my southern
Cape.
Missouri geography. They're not in Cape. They're in Sykeston, which is a little off. I was just in Cape
yeah,
last
that's
weekend,
still-
actually.
Sykeston's still a ways. I mean,
Is
you
it?
got to go all the way to. I'm trying to remember the name of the town. If you go down,
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to Google.
57.
We're gonna go to Google
like-
Maps, Dave.
it's like is it Pocahontas? Something like that. It's a trek. I mean, I think you go about 3 hours before you even get to Arkansas.
back on your betting thing before you look it up. Over under on time it takes to get there.
I haven't looked
Let's
yet.
get
I
back
haven't
on
looked
that.
yet. I'm gonna say
It's an
I'm gonna say
positive
Sykeston's like an hour and a half from Arkansas at the most.
So we're going. Okay, so you're going under 2 hours.
I'm going under 2 hours. I haven't looked yet.
Dave,
All right, hang on. I think
I'm looking now.
From Arkansas. How far Sykeston is from Arkansas? That's the bet.
That's the bet.
God, I would say an hour and a half. Yeah, that's probably
both
that's
going
probably a good over.
under 2. All right.
Oh God, I think it's further.
So Sykeston
Oh,
is
no.
Sykeston's 2.5 hours away from us,
I was hoping to hype you up with a bet.
and then see, it's a different route. It's a different route than I take. Let me see. I don't know, man.
It's not that far from the line. There's no. I think I just got to type in like. I just typed in Arkansas. I think I need like a city on the border in Arkansas.
Yeah, he should
Yeah.
have gave us a little bit.
Yeah, it's not that far. Like if
Go ahead, and carry on with the next one, Eric. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
Well, we'll go to an old pal that we haven't heard from a while, Mr. Dave Spurry, or as he likes to be known from everybody else besides the show, Dave Sperry. He said, "What more can we say? Too defeated to even say we just need a goal scorer." Man, we've fallen down that far.
yeah, I
Spursy can't even.
I shouted him out on Tuesday. It
Yeah, I
just
know.
feels like the ghost of Spurry is everywhere here right now. I mean, he's still with us, so I don't know why I said the ghost of Spurry, but he is certainly as
Dave
part of this
Spurry is
podcast.
alive.
We haven't heard from him in a while, but by the way,
know.
I got an hour and 10 minutes from Piggott, Piggott, or maybe it's Peugeot. Dave, I don't speak French, but it could be.
Oh, it's Piggott. It's Arkansas. Come on.
Arkansas. So it's about an hour roughly to the border.
Yeah, I typed in.
You could throw a roll. You could throw a roll from Lambert's that far. It's that close.
I cross in Neelyville, which is about an hour 10 away from Sykeston.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, we cover a lot on this show, including southern Missouri and northern Arkansas geography. It's exciting.
The border war.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Exciting SEC football.
There you go. You're back on the board with a positive. bet.
That's right. Under 1.5 hours. I got it right. I was just in Cape. I was in Cape last week, and we talked about making a trip to Sykeston for the Throwed Rolls, but we played 7 softball games in 2 days, and nobody wanted to drive away from St. Louis at that
Jesus.
point. We were ready to go home. So we did.
Blame you there. You know who I do blame is this next one. It's Zach Gorski. Said, I don't want to talk about the game, so let's discuss the end of season submitter battle. Since this is an ever-growing podcast, a regular 8-person bracket doesn't involve enough people. But with 2/3 of the brains in the operation of supportive drummies, I know anything more than an 8-person bracket is going to be too difficult to figure out.
Gorski. Gorski.
Gorski.
So I'm thinking we go with a tag team tourney. That way, an 8-team bracket with 16 total competitors. Side note, if you guys at the match or pregame on the 31st, first round is on me. Well, first round's going to be
Oh,
on
my
you,
God,
Gorski.
Gorski.
You keep talking that trash, and first beer is going to be
There's always. I pick Gorski
Dumped
as my
on you,
tag
buddy.
team partner.
First
We're hard
round's
meat over here.
going to be on Gorski because his hands are going to be too sticky from the sauce. The beer is going to be flopping all over the place. I'm going to be able to hold on to it.
you can pick Gorski as your partner. You won't be able to tag in. Those hands
That's
will
right.
be so
Yep.
slippery. You guys
Exactly
Are they
right.
slippery or sticky? See, the two of you can't even get your lies
Well, it depends
straight.
on the
You're talking
sauce.
about
Listen,
sticky
listen.
wing
We
hands.
talked
You're
about
talking
this
about
earlier.
slippery wing
We
hands.
talked about thick
It's
sauce
absurd.
and liquidy sauce. It doesn't matter what you get. You're a
It's
mess.
absolutely absurd.
I misspoke. I meant to say slippery. I doubled down on sticky, and then Eric said slippery. I get it. We were a little bit out of sync, but it could be both. Because listen, if you go to Felix's, you grab one of those Asian wings they've got there. That's a sticky sauce, Dave. That's a sticky sauce, right? Now the beer is just held in your hand at that point. It doesn't make it any less messy. Doesn't make it any less messy at all. Buffalo sauce, yeah, I think it's sliding right out of your hands. Regardless, if you eat
I like
the
how
drummy,
you two jabrones act like you never touch sauce with a drumstick, or that you're so dainty in the way that you hold your wings.
I hold it like this, two fingers, Dave.
As if you're sipping a tiny espresso. No, the two of you are
Pinkies
like a
up.
couple of damn Neanderthals just shoving drumsticks in your mouth as fast as you can choke them down. Whereas Team Flats, the refined Team Flats, is expertly dismember, eat, dismember.
I don't
eat,
see
done.
dismembering. I see Team Flats where they go full
It's
in
because
and
you're
full
too
out.
busy. Because you're too busy sticking a drumstick down your gullet.
You think Gorski's?
savage.
You think Gorski's got that technique down where you like pull the bone? I'll be honest. I've always been a little jealous of people that do that. They can like twist the bone and they pull it out and they've got like all the meat there. That's a pretty nice play, but it's
Yeah,
it's
we
a
can all do
veteran.
that.
It's a veteran flat move. No, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do that.
We can all do that. It's just absurd. What? Okay, so he's proposing a tag team submitter bracket. So I love this. I love any brackets. The bracket thing may be the best thing ever to happen to this show in my short tenure. So he wants to pair up rando
Sounds like-
rando submitters.
Or is it a pick
and
your
have
partner
tag team.
situation? I don't know. I don't know what Gorski's got in mind.
Season. He put it as season submitter battle. So I'm assuming, yeah, anybody. Who's
Do we
been
need to
involved with
think
this-
about pairing them up by platform? I think pairing up by platform might be the idea. Can you imagine anyone that, first of all,
Facebook taking on
Sly
Twitter,
Fox
taking
and
on
Finley,
Reddit?
That's
Sly Fox and
tough.
Finley take this down.
It's tough. It's
like,
so tough. You couldn't do it
Yeah.
that way. You couldn't do it that way. I don't
Would
think.
have to be. It'd have to be random.
Yeah,
It had
and
to
I
be
think we
random,
could
to
do
be
it
fair.
individually too. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
we need tag team. We can count, Gorski. We can count. All right.
It might have to be a multiple sewed bracket.
Hey, it could be.
That's exciting.
If the
we
World
start
Cup-
at 64.
If the
We have
World Cup
64 submitter.
if the World Cup can expand to 64 teams, and damn it, so can the South End supporters. All right, you
Oh, I
worry
love
about
this.
that. I tell you
Big-
who's throwing his hand in the ring for the good side of the tag team. It's our buddy Eric O'Donnell. He said, two-parter. First, can Dave show us where the drummy hurt him on the start? Yeah, I like that. He said, second, found out my brother's dog has been chosen as pet of the match for the May 10th game, so please
Oh, that's
join me
exciting.
in booing Tara when she is shown on the big screen. That dog is like my brother's child, and I know she will somehow take my future inheritance. Boos for Tara. Boy, when he started saying booing a
we're gonna
dog,
boo
I was
the-
like,
we have to
what?
boo
What's
the
going
dog.
on? Yeah.
I'll boo him, Eric.
That would do. I don't think that would do any good for our brand to boo a dog.
What kind of dog is it?
I don't know, but it would throw off the rest of the South End when they're
It
like,
would.
today's our pet match of the week, and we're just random booing.
Just
They'd
tell him
probably-
to shut up and throw a kolache at him. They'll be fine.
Oh, I'm not wasting kolaches on that dog.
No, on the people that are yelling at us for booing the
I'm
dog.
not wasting
yeah.
kolaches on them either.
No,
Hammer
they
it
can get
down.
they can get a Parmageddon to the face. That's for
Oh, Parmageddon.
sure. Next, we'll go to Twitter with St. Louis City SC fan. Should I get the pork steak sandwich from Beast or the chicken kebab from Balkan? I've pretty much given up on our on-field product. These are new questions that occupy my mind when it comes to City.
I have the answer.
We have people that have pivoted away from the team that are
about
only
the-
interested in food now.
Listen, dude, the food at City Park is really good, right?
It's
There's
great.
one thing that's really good at that place right now. The product on the field, not great. The product on the the concourse area, we could call
Yeah,
it, is
concourse
very,
product is
very
strong.
good. I'm a kebab guy through and through. Listen, the Beast pork steak sandwich is good for sure, and you should try it. But anything from Balkan to me is superior. It's amazing, really, really good. I go kebab all day. That's my answer.
I haven't had the the kebab yet from
Dude, you
Balkan.
got to go to Balkan. You got to go to Balkan.
I know. Okay, next game.
There are
Next game.
several
I'll go check.
kebab options in that park.
Yeah.
Although, what was it? What's the place that you get the hot wings at that Clemens sent us that picture from?
Oh, fattened calf.
Fat calf
with the
Yeah,
with the
that
Tocino bacon kebab. Yeah, or the pork belly kebab.
That looked fire. But the problem is that thing was like $20, man.
It's all $20
Yeah.
bucks, I think. Everything's
I know,
so
but-
expensive. Food's so
Well, we
expensive.
got to
there,
get
too.
into this building cheaper so we can spend more money on food.
Right.
I do think it's funny. I joined the My City Plus thing this year, and it's like, oh, you can earn like City Bucks, and oh, that's great. They can go towards. But every time I earn like $8 in City Bucks, then I go and spend like $30 in food. So then it's like I go from 8 City Bucks to, oh, you earn 4 more City Bucks.
It's almost
I think
like
I'm losing.
It's almost like the reward system was created for that, Dave.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
kind of the
I
whole
don't know.
purpose.
I'll have to look into that. I have a feeling this is a lot what you felt like when you saw your gambling activity.
Yeah.
And you thought you were, your expectations just, were a little different.
Yeah, I
I'm not going
recently,
to stop eating. I know you're going to stop gambling, but I'm not going to stop eating.
No, I actually just unretired from gambling. I'm going to probably place a bet on NBA games as soon as we get off this podcast tonight. So
Okay.
we're
Yeah,
back.
you got to. I mean, you got to get back to even at least.
100%.
Right? You're due.
I say you pull what Olaf should do, and just rather than keep going conservative, just go super
go aggressive.
for
Yeah.
1 week and just see how it works out for you.
Yeah,
Maybe take out a loan.
I'll be honest. I went a little hard this weekend. And it went well because of how good the Derby was. But if I didn't have that Derby win, wouldn't have been good.
That's fun.
Kebab.
Next,
The answer.
Bob. Oh, Dave. Yeah. What's your?
Yeah, kebab. I know it's very anti St. Louis or whatever, but I'm not a pork steak guy, and I'll just leave it at that.
He's
Kebab,
not.
I
He's
hate
not.
it.
I know this for a
really?
fact.
Yeah.
Maybe not
Although
a
Dave, I
favorite.
will say this is not fat. Like this is a thicker, like not fatty piece of meat. It is good. It really is
I'll
good.
give it a look, but
Yeah.
I'm just.
I'm
well
'cause I'm not a big-
documented, not a pork steak guy.
Maybe I'll
I'm not a
order
big
one. Just give
fat
it a little
guy.
nibble. Just have a little nibble sometime,
Maybe
Dave.
we can start from both ends, and you eat from one end and I eat from the
That'd
other
be
end.
nice. It's not really a long sandwich though. Is the thing. So the runway is
That
going to
just
be
makes it
relatively short there.
That makes it even better.
Yeah, it's even hotter that way.
I'll
See the
film
problem.
it. We'll be on there.
That's hot.
We'll be good to go. Next,
Something
we'll go
spoilers
to
after dark.
Tommy Beck. He said this gets harder to watch every week. Do you give Olaf a transfer window to see if they can get this fixed, or just end it now and try and find a new direction? Second question: the Blues Game 7 was an all-time heartbreaking loss. What is the most heartbreaking loss you guys have ever experienced as a fan? And I'll go ahead and save Eric some time. Aguero.
Damn
I
it,
like how
Tommy.
you read it. You read it even. That's good.
Tommy ruined it. I was going to pull that out. I knew that would be Eric's.
I didn't want to. I mean, well, yeah, you answered mine, so you guys can take that one.
Transfer window, man. I don't know, man. Like
When
I
is
said,
it?
like we were talking
When is
about
the
on
transfer
Tuesday.
window?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you offhand. I just know that if you can't get results, some substantial results in these next 4 or 5 games, I don't want to see him be able to go out and pick up more players. I don't know. Everybody has their own opinions on what we have, but
I'll tell you this much though, as far as the transfer window goes, I've been saying this for a while now, and I think we kind of saw it with Seattle. Ryan Kent was a championship level player over in England, and he looked fantastic for Seattle. I've been saying like we should be scouting the championship,
Yeah.
because you can get players for not extraordinarily crazy amounts of money. You can get them at a decent age, and you can get them where they're playing talented football. There was a guy for RSL last year, Brooks, I believe, who came from Middlesbrough championship level, and he was solid. Like, I think that's where,
The problem is most of the elite players in the championship have aspirations of playing the Premier League while they're in their prime.
sure, but
so,
you could get a good mid-level team player who's like,
yeah.
you could sell them on America. The tough part is sell them on St. Louis, but you could sell them on America, and then you could sell them on
Still,
I just don't know. I think if I'm 24 or 25 years old in the championship, I'm trying to crack one of those Premier League squads before I.
But isn't that what
move on to
Bundesliga
MLS.
2 players are thinking? They're going to crack.
I don't think
Bundesliga?
Bundesliga 2 players. I think that's such a stark difference in talent between Championship and Bundesliga 2. You you don't see guys come up in promotion and make the impact in Germany the way that you see guys in promotion come up from the championship and make the impact in the Premier League. It just
I'll agree with that, but I
yeah.
still think that could I don't think it's going to hurt to start scouting the championship level and seeing what you can
You
get
can
out there
scout it
for.
all you want. I think that at this point, I don't know that that's a realistic option for them. At least they don't, because they're not going to open the checkbook from them. I mean, you're going to have to
Right.
overpay, especially the younger players. Now, you want to start picking off some of these guys that are career championship League One guys that are in their 30s. You know, the Paul Mullins,
Paul Mullen still holding out hope for Paul Mullen.
somebody like that, maybe.
What's he,
But
32? Paul Mullen?
I think I think that's probably closer to where he is. But yeah, I don't know. And then the second part of the question, heartbreaking loss. We
What is the
talked
most
about this.
what was the most heartbreaking loss you've
God, we
experienced
talked
as
about
a
this
fan?
earlier. That damn Steve Eiserman ruined my childhood.
I think that it was. I think it was about as bad as it comes. Granted, I'm not as emotionally invested in regular season hockey like a lot of people out there. So probably the least amount of anybody on this podcast. Definitely, I would say the least amount of anybody on this podcast, especially Dave. But for me, getting into it in the playoffs as I do every year, so it was like a relatively new season for me, right? Because I wasn't following it a lot until towards the end of the regular season. Is call me a fair weather. I don't. I'm not a fair weather. I'm just not a big hockey fan, but I do find it very exciting when it gets to the playoffs, and I always support the Blues, of course. I thought it was gut-wrenching, dude. I thought it was as bad as it gets. And I know we talked about this. We didn't talk about it on the pod. We talked about it before the podcast started, Dave. For me, I can't recall like a worse loss in St.
It
Louis.
sucked, but again, I think it's a lot. It's mitigated for me because I got to see him win a Stanley Cup after all the pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't get me wrong, it sucked, but the Eiserman game was infinitely worse. There was a game against the Sharks in the early 2000s where Owen Nolan scored a goal from way out.
Yeah, Roman Turk just fell asleep.
Yeah, some of those Blackhawk losses in the 20 teens were brutal.
None of them though were you up by 2 goals with like a couple of minutes left.
Yeah, but again,
I also think Dave's
was,
point that he made pre-show, like the Blues weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah, all of that's irrelevant. All of it's irrelevant.
Don't get me wrong. I was destroyed last night for it really ruined my night. But man, let's say the Cardinals, like that Travis Ishikawa home run in San Francisco was brutal.
Was it Michael Wacha? Michael Wacha, I think the game
was that wasn't the series? Weren't they up in a series? Was it 3-1 against the Giants too? Was that year? Or was it one of the other years?
2014, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't recall a walk-off loss against them, but that was pretty brutal. I think was Schwarber? Remember Schwarber hit a bomb in Wrigley Field one time, and I feel like that was in maybe the divisional round.
Yeah.
But listen.
It was bad.
It was
dude.
tough. Losing the Super Bowl to the Patriots.
That was bad.
Play was probably.
And they were like the Rams were like 14-point favorites in that game too.
That was probably as a kid the closest I've ever come to like losing it because of a result. Now, I lost it more when I had my own losses when I was younger.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't know. Eric's got the famous Aguero moment. I'm sure that one.
I just want to say thanks, Tommy Beck, because at least once a month, one of the people in the group chat, including the Monday Morning Center back, send me that video. Just whenever I'm feeling just at my lowest, they make sure at the right time to send it to me.
I'm gonna do that again.
And so I'm glad now that has followed me to the podcast as far as one of the worst sporting moments that I've experienced. And even the other day, like, I forget what social media was, but it was talking about one of the greatest, like, because they were talking about Championship Sunday and like all the games that were happening where there was last minute goals that were like the greatest last minute goals, and that one popped up as like number 1 or number 2 behind the Dini thing. So I'm glad it's making its way back into my life here. So thanks, Tommy. Oh yeah, thanks. I'm glad. Yeah. There it is. Fantastic. So many points in that game. If you really want, I'll start another episode after this one convinces of why that game was such a fraud and why Man City should be investigated even more on top of the 150 whatever charges that they've had. That game was such a fraud, and QPR should be investigated as well. Like, it's just such a.
What was the guy's name that
disgrace.
picked up the red that used to play for City?
I can't even remember, but there were so
That's
many. They were like
that's
dumping the ball back to.
if you're into super sports conspiracies, then the guy that was like a lifelong, I think he was a Man City academy kid, had played for Man City in the majority of his career, picked up a red like in the late 70th minute when they were down a goal, and immediately Man City turned it on.
And then they just started dumping the ball to City and like saying like, here, try again. Like, it should be investigated. They're the worst.
But they also got relegated because of that goal. So there's a big.
They were already relegated.
Oh, I thought the goal was the one. I thought them losing made them relegated.
They were
already relegated.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
We'll try and go to a positive aspect after this. Last one I got on my end. We're back to Cadlick's combat as Ryan Cadlick comes back in. He said Saturday's game was about as disappointing as when the waitress brings out a plate of all flats to you. Hashtag Team Drummy. Starting out strong there. And thanks for the text that I just received from Dave. He said, same rules as always. This time we're going Nickelodeon characters. He said,
I like this.
So the 1 seed is Norbert Beaver from Angry Beavers.
Dude, time out. Cadlick, hold on.
How old is Cadlick?
Hold on. Before you, I'll say the last sentence now, just so we can get this out of the way. He said, ChatGPT made the seedings of this battle.
Oh, good. He's using AI now too. This is good.
Hate towards Cadlick on this one, and I'm defending him because he had hashtag Team Drummies. If he had hashtag Team Flats, I wouldn't have read that last sentence.
He needs to work on his hashtag seeding.
Number 2, we've got Steve from Blues Clues. Wow. Number 3, we've got Auto Rocket from Rocket Power. 4, Cat Dog from Cat Dog. 5, Donnie from the Wild Thornberries. 6, Mr. Crab from SpongeBob. 7, Arnold from Hey Arnold. And 8, Ickis from Our Real Monsters. So kicking this off,
is by far his worst part.
I don't know who any of them are. I don't think.
What?
Maybe 2 of them.
You know who Arnold is.
Arnold. That's about it.
And him as a 7 seed is a joke.
You don't know Steve from Blues?
Listen, first of all, you've got no Doug. You've got no Rocco's Modern Life.
There's so many other people.
Ren and Stimpy.
No Ren and Stimpy.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, there's a lot.
A lot of people.
I don't know. I might boycott this. This is terrible.
Would this be our first submission boycott? Wow, that'd be insane. Over Nickelodeon characters.
What did you call this in the beginning, Eric? Cadlick's. What did you call this?
Cadlick's Combat.
Cadlick's Combat. I like that. Can we get that sponsored?
Yeah.
The marketing department needs to get on that.
By like what? Like an MMA gym?
Maybe. Man, why not?
Do we want to?
There we go. A place that they show a lot of MMA fights. Maybe we get we just keep adding food to this sort of this week's episode.
Let's just run through this bracket, this painful bracket.
All right, so we got number 1. We got number 1 C. We got Norbert Beaver from Angry Beavers taking on Ickis from Our Real Monsters. I believe Ickis is the hand with the eyes, right?
I don't know who either of them
I used
are.
to watch that show.
Either way, I was going Norbert Beaver because those beavers were feisty, and they were always.
No, Ickis is the one that looks like the bat. He's a small red violet imp with large ears and elf-shaped feet. All right, it's the beaver.
Beaver?
Yeah, it's the beaver.
Dave laughing already. All right, great. Number 2, we've got Steve from Blues Clues taking on Hey Arnold.
Steve's a real person. Like,
yeah, but dude, he's like, he's
the softest person.
He's the softest person.
I'm going Arnold all the way.
I'm going Arnold too.
But Arnold kind of gets bullied on that show by a girl. And everybody else in that neighborhood. Arnold was the softest inner city kid in that show.
Yeah, but the softest inner city kid is tougher than Steve from Blue's Clues.
I don't know, man.
Steve is getting bullied way more by Helga than Arnold is. I tell you that much.
Steve just takes an eraser and erases Helga from existence because he's a real person.
Ooh.
And he's got a sidekick. Oh, this is Steve all day. This is Steve all day. Steve in Blue? Yeah. Steve all day. Although I guess Arnold could call the whole neighborhood in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Arnold on this.
I'm going Steve.
I already wrote down Hey Arnold because it was never in doubt.
Dave, DH, we had a real conundrum last week, only having two of
I
us
heard.
to vote on the
I heard.
Yeah.
real
How to
problem.
solve these, yeah. All right, number 3, we've got Otto Rocket from Rocket Power taking on Mr. Crab from SpongeBob.
I don't know
It's
who
easy for
the
me
Rocket
because
Power guy is.
it was that was
He's
my favorite
he's a
show. Like
child.
kids, that
It's
was my favorite
Mr.
kid show of all
Krabs. He's
time.
got two weapons, man.
No,
He's got the pincers.
yeah, Otto Rocket's taking his skateboard, bike, whatever he has, and just beating the hell out of
I'm
Mr. Crab.
going
All Otto
Crab. I'm
Rocket-
going Crab on this
Yeah,
one.
we've got
you
Krabs.
guys- No, all right, I'm boycotting the show. It's a farce. I don't want to give any more of my picks from here on out. Mr. Crab, I'm writing it down with disgust. That's terrible.
I think
I've never
Skeeter. I think Skeeter from Doug beats all of them at this point. Like
Oh,
this
I don't
is
know who
gosh,
just-
absolutely.
I don't know
Roger
who annoyed
Klotz.
me more.
Roger Klotz takes them all out.
Yeah, this is true. You guys annoying me more, or Tommy Beck with having to bring up Aguero again. Jesus Christ. And lastly, for the first round, we're going Cat Dog taking on Donnie from the Wild Thornberries.
Isn't cat dog
Donnie-
like two things? Isn't it like a cat and a dog?
But Donnie's the crazy
He's a little wild
guy
boy.
on Wild Thornberries that doesn't speak, and he's just
Do you know who did the voice of Donnie, the character?
no who.
Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh wow, fun fact.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
his
did
voice.
see that before. Yeah, you're right. I did do that.
Donnie's a little wild boy. I'm taking Donnie.
Yeah,
Donnie's a dark horse to win this whole thing.
I'm looking at him right now. He looks a little crazy. I'm going Donnie as well.
So Donnie in the second round is going to be taking on Norbert from the Angry Beavers.
Yeah, it's Donnie still for me.
Yeah, I mean he's listed as a feral boy adopted by the Thornberries. Energetic, hard to control. I'm going Donnie.
And then we got Hey Arnold taking on Mr. Krabs for the last matchup of round 2.
Yeah, I'm going. I got crabs. I got crabs all day.
I bet you do.
Yeah,
Dave?
it's fine with me.
David?
Krabs is fine. I don't care. I'm just typing in the final in the
So,
chat GPT right now.
Type
so.
in the chat GPT so we can get our first thought. But Mr. Krabs is going to be taking on Donnie from the Wild Thornberries.
God, this is tough.
I guarantee you Donnie does something with money to distract Krabs and then beats him in the end.
So
Krabs has got experience.
So Donnie's strengths is wild, unpredictable, extremely agile. I didn't know about his agility. That's nice. He does have classic feral child behavior, bites, scratches, and screams, so he fights dirty. That's tough.
Yep.
Weaknesses, though, he's small. He's very emotional, not very strategic. That could play poorly in later rounds. Mr. Krabs, he's a tough ex-Navy crab. I didn't realize he was ex-Navy.
Oh, I didn't realize.
I didn't
He
know that
probably would
either.
Like Warrior logo wear.
He has immense straw. He would. Yes, he would. Immense claw strength. Highly motivated when money is involved. So if he's being paid for this, that could be nice for Mr. Krabs. He's built like a tank. He's taken hits from SpongeBob and Squidward's antics without much issue. His weaknesses, greedy and easily distracted by money, and not particularly fast or agile. So the money could play in, both his favor and then also against him as well. The winner, according to ChatGPT, is Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs wins this one, and here's why. While Donnie would come at Mr. Krabs with absolute feral chaos, Mr. Krabs' sheer durability, claw power, and brawler experience from his Navy days would likely let him tank the wild attacks and put Donnie in a crab claw sleeper hold. Unless Donnie uses jungle traps or distracts him with counterfeit money, Crab wins this crustaceous clash.
I love it. I like how we are the ones that set up the championship match, and then we leave it to the fate. We leave it to the fates.
Of course.
With ChatGPT. I like it.
Mr. Krabs, congratulations. A lot of money coming your way.
Krabby. Yeah. Call in,
just-
Krabs.
I just love that this show at some point is going to be saying, and next we've got Mr. Krabs taking on Happy Gilmore. In the next
Ooh,
episode.
could that happen?
That's where we're going with this. But that's what I have on my end, so we'll kick it over to Dave for the rest of the submissions.
Reddit, you're up. So when I put this out there, when I asked for submissions for the first time, it was yesterday, and it was May 4th. So it was Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. So I've started throwing prompts out to both Reddit and to Discord, which we'll get to, where I kind of throw out some ideas and then have a little theme to it. So part of the prompt was Star Wars themed, which city player is best with a lightsaber? give me your player character comparisons, rank the movies, shows from best to worst, which movie would you compare this season to, all that stuff. And then because today when we're recording, Cinco de Mayo, I also threw out what's your favorite food dish from your favorite Mexican restaurant. So the answers are all over the place. We've got city comments, we've got Star Wars stuff, we've got Mexican food stuff. Sometimes we've got all three. But good responses from Discord and from Reddit. Shim13 is first up. This underfunded club is led by an owner who is like St. Louis royalty. She's our very own Princess Leia. If Princess Leia didn't give a shit about winning, did Admiral Akbar even think about only recruiting rebels from the 3rd Division of whatever weird-ass squid planet he came from? He should have. What effing shit tactics and formation would Olaf use to attack the Death Star? Edit, forgive me, I'm bitter. Oh, this is strong
solid.
opener. Strong
That
opener.
is solid.
I think Olaf would just sit on Alderaan and wait for the Empire to attack. If anybody, you guys are not Star Wars guys,
No.
but that's
He'd put the
Alderaan's
shields
Alderaan's
up and
the
just
first
hope
planet
that they
to
can
go.
block them for forever. That would be his,
Alderaan's the first planet to go, and they have no offense because they have no weapons. So there you go. That's Olaf right there.
great answer right there.
Who's the Jar Jar Binks on this team, Dave?
Oh God.
Celio.
I no.
Celio's just out there
think-
smiling the whole time, and I feel like every time he
Okay,
makes,
you're going that route. I thought you were going like useless ancillary
Yeah.
character.
no,
That's
no,
what
no.
I've always
No
heard
place
about Jar Jar.
on the team.
No.
Oh
I
God.
feel like Celio would make somebody and just be like,
I'm,
"Jar Jar Binks."
I don't think I could throw this out of here without being just a complete jerk. So I don't think anyone deserves the moniker of Jar Jar Binks. I don't dislike any of the players that much. So I will say that if I
And
had
Luke
to
would be
assign,
Chewbacca.
what's that?
Lunt would be
Lunt is
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. That's a good shout. I think Berkey would be the Vader because he's just got so much rage inside of him, and every once in a while he just snaps. But yeah, that's good. So Shim Shim got us off to a great start. Juiceman 23. There's nothing positive to speak of for City, so I'll defer to your question about favorite Mexican dish. Mine is from Dos Primos in North O'Fallon Mo, and the Supremo burrito is absolutely delicious. I followed up to get what is this Supremo burrito? It's an order of 2 burritos, 1 chicken and beans, 1 beef and beans, topped with red sauce, lettuce, tomatoes, and sour cream. If I'm feeling particularly down and need something more, I'll get the burrito Arandas, and it is a 12-inch tortilla filled with grilled chicken, shrimp, and rice of pure delight, topped with cheese dip. That is strong.
Does sound nice. Does a burrito become an enchilada when it's got the red sauce though?
Ooh,
That's what I thought.
I don't know.
I always thought enchiladas were a little more a little skinnier
Maybe.
than a burrito. I feel like a burrito and an enchilada is like open at the end sometimes.
Yeah, I think
don't
you're
know.
right. I think you're right there. But it's got
I don't
that red
know.
sauce. Got the red sauce, Dave.
I feel like we could have a bracket of Mexican food at some point. I feel like that'd be really good.
We eat a lot of
Cadillac.
Mexican food here.
Same. Cadillac, you've got homework for next week. That's yeah. Sly Fox checking in there, ladies and
There he
gentlemen.
is.
Sly Fox. So just right ABC, right down the list with answers. Taqueria Durango in Overland is one of the best spots in St. Louis for Mexican food. He wants us to assign each host a Star Wars character and also a Mexican dish. And then he said, "See, I'll give you my thoughts later," which there was a submission that came in today that I haven't read yet. Okay, assign each host a Star Wars character and also a Mexican dish. I'd like to start with a Mexican dish, I think. Oh, man. So, let's see. Oh, God. Help me out with this.
Eric's going to be like a taco salad, maybe, because he's like.
I was gonna say
taco
I'd be like
salad.
I'd be like a fish taco or something.
fish taco, yeah, something
Okay,
like
yeah.
that. Something like
Yeah.
that.
I'd
I
be
like
a fish
that.
taco with some pineapple salsa on there. That'd be I think
I like
fits me a
that.
little bit.
Now would I assign myself a chicken chimichanga just drenched in cheese?
Just
Can I do
drinks.
that?
I like that.
Can I do that?
I like that. I like that a lot.
DH, we're not going to assign you any sort of pork because you don't dig on swine.
I want to be a fajita, you know.
You wanna be a
I
fajita?
I
Ooh,
sizzle
yeah, like
a little bit.
Yes,
Now,
You're
do you
a
like your
fajita.
fajitas?
You like it when you walk in the room and everybody turns.
Yeah. People,
Oh, yeah.
they're like, oh, we smell this guy, and he makes
And
some
like-
noise.
everybody like also is like partially
We
being
smell
like,
this
I
guy.
should have got that, but I didn't.
Yeah,
You
I
don't want to
know.
walk into a room and be smelled first.
Well, if you
man.
smell good, you do, Dave. And the
But if
fajitas
the
usually
first
smell
thing that
good.
happens if you walk into a room, that means you're very pungent and you might have overdone it on the Drakkar.
Well, it could be. It could be. I just
don't ever
recently started
smell-
collecting colognes, by the way. I'm gonna have to show you my collection. I've got so many of them. I've got away. I haven't bought shoes in a long time. I have so many fragrances now.
It'll be the same
I
as
did
the
not
watches. It'll be the
expect
same as
that
the shoes.
to go that direction.
There's
Did
so
not
many
expect
of
to
them.
learn that tonight.
And I'm trying,
Oh.
you know what? And I'm trying to figure out the appropriate ratio because some of them are stronger than others. So sometimes you can't smell me at all, and sometimes it gets a little bit too strong. So
Are you
Have you collected
are you
any Sex Panther yet?
I have not bought Sex Panther.
Are you both sides of the neck and then the wrist kind of guy? Or how
Well,
do you apply it?
Eric, I've been watching a lot of TikTok videos on this. That's what got me into it. Both sides of the wrist, both necks. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of classic ways to apply. You could do the spray up in the air to walk into it. I think that's the least effective.
No, that's a waste.
Yeah, it is a waste. I'm a two neck, one wrist guy, and then like one additional kind of like in the chest area right now. But I'm experimenting. You know, I'm new to it, new to the game.
That's hot. It's so hot.
I've got a lot of
Didn't
scents,
even
a
know
lot
they
of
were
fragrances right now.
Last question about your fajita characterization. Do you prefer a single protein
Nope.
fajita or do you like combo?
Combo all day. I like all three. If we could go steak,
Yes.
chicken, and shrimp,
Yes.
that's
yes.
it.
That's strong.
That's
and
it.
let me throw you a little bit extra because you've got the little salt and pepper on top. I'm gonna give you fajitas, the mixed fajitas, and I'm gonna sprinkle a little cotija cheese on there.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, just a little.
We had that. We
Say
had
it
that
again,
on our
Dave. Say,
taco.
say the word again.
a little cotija. Cotija cheese.
Oh, I love it.
From now on, I'm saying that because we had that tonight for our shrimp and steak tacos. So from now on,
that's
I'll
good.
be only pronouncing it
wonderful.
that way. That's beautiful.
That's wonderful. All right, Flip Flop Kitten Hands checking in next, and
I love that
wrote
name, dude.
a book here. It's actually an acrostic poem. Here, I got to read it because he took the time to write it out. But maybe this is ChatGPT. I don't know. I got to read it. Okay, here's a little acrostic poem for you all from a very defeated Flip Flop. Frankly, the midfield's a mess, a total disarray. Lacking any structure, watching chances slip away. Oh, I like a rhyming poem. Absolutely no cohesion, passes going astray, terrible to witness, game after frustrating game, I say. So many displaced passes, it truly numbs. Are we even trying? This performance really bums. Really? Where's the passion? Where's the fiery hum? Even the defense looks like it's going to succumb. Better days we've seen, this slump is quite the fright. Even a blind squirrel finds the nut, right? Terrible tactics. Leaving us in such Terrible tactics, leaving us in such despair. Terrible results, a heavy burden to bear. Every single match now fills me with such dread. Really wish they'd show some fight instead. This is constant losing. It's enough to make you sigh. Here's to wonder if they'll finally learn to fly. Another loss, another showing of quit. No strength, no hunger, not even any grit. Dreadful to watch, a truly sorry sight. Really hoping for a win with all my might. Ultimately, this feeling just consumes. Maybe next week won't bring such gloomy dooms. Sadly, this performance just disheartens and unnerves. That is strong.
Listen, Flip Flop's going to be tough. Going to be tough in the
to beat.
bracket. He's going to be
I'll
tough.
tell you this
Tough to
much:
beat.
I was torn as you were reading it between is this a am I hearing it as a Christmas story?
I did actually.
Or am I?
Eric.
But the other thing I was hearing it as the beginning is like a good solid English chant during a game. Like you get some
That's a
claps
long
going.
chant.
Like if you were hitting this and us from the south end were just chanting like that, that would feel like a true. Like just give me that the first two lines right in there.
No, it was Christmassy to me. It had good cadence. I don't know what acrostic means, Dave, but I liked it.
We're gonna find out. It was really good.
It was
Thank you.
good,
Thank
yeah.
you, Flip Flop. Zalo with an X. Zalo. Best player skills of the lightsaber. For some reason, I want to say Wallem. I don't know why, but it feels like he'd slay. City question: What do you guys think our chances of making the playoffs at this point? I'd say nil. The run of form that they're on now, it's nil.
It can never be nil.
Until we see a a consistent run of play for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I would say absolutely nil.
I think they could still get that wild card spot. I feel not right now, but I think like a lot of things change come mid-season. We've seen that over the past couple years in the MLS, especially where teams just drop off and other teams hit a run and file. You look at Kansas City last year; they were god awful, and they still snuck in the playoffs. And I
Yeah,
think
but I need signs of
sure,
positivity and
sure, but I'm saying as of right now, I don't think it's nil as far as percentage
ugh,
wise.
My observation: Zalo sounds like a Star Wars character. That's what I think.
a little bit, a
By
little
the
bit.
way, Kessler to me just stands out like right away as far as the first part of that
Got a
question.
lot of reach.
I just see
Yeah.
him wearing like the hood over and everything, and just like Jedi. He just looks like if you throw a robe on Kessler, he would look like a extra in a Star Wars movie for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's good. That's a good shot. Moving over to Discord, same prompts, all the same stuff, all the same questions. Kyle Van Clay, whether it's boxing, fencing, or lightsaber dueling, the most crucial component is footwork. So I believe Celia would be the most fluid wielding the Jedi's weapon. John Love, my favorite dish is a margarita from every restaurant I've ever been to.
Solid.
Kyle also weighed in with some solid city player Star Wars nicknames. C3 Pompeu.
Nice.
Yeah, that's strong. Berkey RB1 Kenobi. He may be our only hope. That's strong.
Real strong.
Diego Gigliani's the evil emperor, destroying our republic from the inside. That's good. John Love. There's a restaurant in Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, and St. John called Gringos that had a jalapeno peach margarita that was the best I ever had.
Does sound
Gringos,
good.
Greengos. DH, have you ever come across that restaurant in your cruise travel?
I have been to all three islands. I've never been to Gringos, but I am going back to none of them this year. I thought I was for a second. So I won't be going to Gringos, I guess, unless I can find it in another island.
There
But
you go.
next
Thank
time
you
I'm in
for-
one of those three, I will go. I love
Thank you
I
for
love them
no
all.
contribution this year. Nice commitment.
Yeah.
Way to go. Fat Lord Colton. Who,
But I'll tell you what, I'll have a margarita on my trip for John.
There you go. Fat Lord Colton, who, let's be honest, was made for this question, was made for May 4th. This is his time to shine. This season definitely feels like Empire Strikes Back at this point. Started out cold and bunkering down. Yeah, that's a good shout. Empire started bad and got tougher and tougher. That was really that's the low point of the original trilogy was Empire. That's a good call. It's a good shout. And he's why he's the Fett Lord. Let's be honest. Kyle's top 5 Star Wars. He listed movies and shows. Number 1 is Andor, which is wild because it's like still going on. Star Wars Rebels, which is a cartoon. Then he's got Empire Strikes Back. Number 4, The Clone Wars, and number 5, Revenge of the Sith. Said this season is maybe the most like the Rise of Skywalker. I love both, but the player characters you know and like are there, but feel different and aren't used the way you think. Your favorite players and characters are absent from this current season episode, and by the end, I'm not sure we will still have fun. I'm sure we will still have fun, but nothing will have made any sense. God, nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans. I love it. John Love says Hartle is the most force sensitive. I get that. Let's see here. We got Amy Murr weighing in. Kessler is our Han Solo. I love that shout. Kessler being Han Solo. His sarcasm, courage, and loyalty to close friends are top of mind. He's taking on more of a leadership role, isn't afraid to take risks, and I bet he's good with a blaster. I don't know if she's hitting on Kessler or not with that.
Kind of sounds like it a little bit.
Sounded like that. It sounded a little bit. And let's see. Favorite dish is chile relleno.
Oh, I like that.
If anyone has recommendations for good local chile relleno spots, please share, as they're hit and miss, so I tend not to take a chance on them.
You know who has good Mexican food? Go to Fairmont. Like Fairmont City.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you could sling a dead cat. Fairmont City hit a good Mexican place.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
And they might serve it to you. That's the thing about Fairmont. Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. Potentially could end
God.
up in your chili relleno.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a problem.
Let's dump out of that one.
Sure. Yeah. Cut that. Jay Clem weighed in. I need my Cameron El Mezcal from my local place. Extra queso, please. So good. Or there's a place in Edwardsville with a killer lobster quesadilla. Their tacos al pastor are fire too. That's
What is that called?
no, it's God, I'm losing my mind.
La Fonda? That's the only one. La
No, it's
Casa.
La Casa
Okay.
Mexicana. Yep, that's good. That's a strong spot. Let's see. Do we have anything else here? John Love says the Silop is a Mexican-based cocktail at Oga's Cantina in Hollywood Studios, and it is fire, both in terms of spice and deliciousness. And then Jerry, with the ultimate submission for this particular subject, a chimichanga defines a restaurant's authenticity, and I'll argue quality. If you can't make a good chicken chimichanga or a good chimichanga, then you don't belong as a Mexican restaurant.
Chimichangas are nice, dude. I mean, it's a fried burrito with cheese on it. Like that's amazing.
How can you go
Yeah,
wrong?
it's so good.
That will be the last South End submission of the evening.
Well, what about
great match.
didn't you have something else from Sly Fox like a late
No,
submission?
it was more just a follow up on more
okay.
of what more of what he had said or what they
I
had
think it
said
was.
before. So.
We were supposed to be Star Wars characters.
Or Mexican
Oh, yeah,
food.
did we-
Yeah.
We started with Mexican food. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to be the one to give you guys Star Wars characters, and I feel like I might insult you with that. So I don't want to do that to you.
Yeah, I think I'm
David's got a real Obi-Wan Kenobi vibe.
Oh wow.
To him.
That
But
sounds good.
But early Obi-Wan, like not the prequel Obi-Wans that was like he was like super like headstrong and like he hadn't been through the shit yet. Like DH has got like, you know, the wise Obi-Wan feel to him.
I like it. Yeah.
These are not the droids you are looking for.
Yeah, exactly, that guy. Eric, oh man, Eric, who are you? I don't know. You're built like the droid that was in the best. My favorite Star Wars movie is Rogue One, and K2SO. K2SO's shoulder about
tank,
that wide.
The tank guy.
Yeah, you're built like him.
Built like a droid.
Yeah. But I don't know, you got some Anakin in you too, some early Anakin.
Okay, a little
I don't
Annie.
know.
Well,
That's
I'll
not a
ta-
compliment.
No, I'll take
yeah.
that. He was pretty strong. He was pretty strong.
Start getting that
And,
little
as long
ponytail
as
thing
long-
that hang down there.
As long as he didn't
called the Jedi
miss up on the
My
high
wife's
ground,
gonna
he
hate
would have
this
been.
episode. Katie's gonna absolutely hate this episode.
I'll be honest, I hate it as well. We're about an hour and 30 minutes into this thing.
We'll hate it even more next week when somebody said Fat Lord Colton comes back with which Lord of the Rings character are we?
Oh
And
my
then
God.
shine.
Yeah. I'm going to sit that one out. Eric, where can people send these submissions to?
Send them on in to all our socials on Instagram. We are South End Supporters. Our Twitter and our Reddit is _SES_podcast STL, as well as our Facebook page and our YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to all those to keep up with South End Supporters.
I want to say thanks so much, as always, to all of our sponsors, especially our title sponsor, Ready to Live Wellness at 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard. If you are looking to get swole like Eric Cole, you gotta check out Ready to Live Wellness. Also, Warrior Logo Wear at 12 East Main Street in Mascoutah. They are the official swag sponsor, drip sponsor, whatever you want to say. We get our clothes from Warrior Logo Wear. No hidden fees at Warrior Logo Wear as well, which is exciting. STL Kalachi brought you the match week preview. It seems like forever ago by now. I have since retired from gambling and now am back on the wagon or off the wagon or whatever you do with the wagon. STL Kalachi at 1530 South Kirkwood Road in Sunset Hills. They bring you the match week preview every single week here on South End Supporters. Felix's Pizza Pub, the longest South End submission segment of all time. They got their money's worth this week at 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. Check them out for award-winning pizza and wings, the biggest slice you're going to find in that jalapeno ranch drizzle. And then Elite FT, our newest sponsor. They bring you the news and notes from the back post every single week. They were part of the Tuesday episode 101, The Game Drive in Glen Carbon, Illinois, inside of the Sports Academy. For Eric Cole, for the Monday Morning Center Back Dave Wyckoff, my name is David Heck. You've been listening to South End Supporters. We'll see you next week, and until then, let's go City.